All right. You want to bring us into this? When do you want to talk follow-up? Right up the top?
Okay, so the last episode was on gun control. The one before that was the death penalty. Did you want to go police brutality or transgenderism on this one?
What about police brutality against transgendered people?
Can we not do anything controversial?
Well, I had some stuff about climate change I wanted to hit on.
No, that's completely that or abortion. Which one?
What about how climate change is affecting abortion?
Okay, let's do it. You're running point on this one, right?
If you can call it running point, in a way, I feel like Alabama and Sabbatical are going to run point on this one because this has been an eye-opening trip. Where you live is not what I expected.
Yeah?
And what Sabbatical is not what I expected.
What do you mean? Like, let's start with Alabama. What's different about Alabama than you expected?
The handshakes last longer.
Do they really?
Yeah, it lingers.
Really?
Yeah, in Wyoming, everybody's got real leathery hands because it's dry.
Uh-huh.
And you get one bone-crushing handshake, and it's a handshake, up, down, that's it. We're done here.
Yeah.
Here, you'll get the two-handed, super sincere handshake from people sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, the one where they come in with the other one and it goes on your forearm?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm not in control. I'm not in control.
It's like,
I don't like
Donald
this.
Trump does that. When he shakes a hand, he'll grab the elbow with his other hand.
Really? What's that about?
I don't know.
Do you like that?
I don't care.
Do you do that?
No.
I don't like it.
I give people their personal space. So in Sierra Leone, my sister was in the Peace Corps in Sierra Leone. And also my friend Steve-O, he was in the Gambia. There's a handshake. We're actually in the truck together overlooking the Tennessee River.
It is beautiful. This is a different spot.
It is a different
than
spot. So
last
we
time.
can do this. So
Okay.
watch this. So I'm going to shake your hand.
Yep, that went
and then
well.
we're going to rock our hands up 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Looping the thumbs, and then we're going to clutch there. So that's like a bro fist.
Yeah, bro fist, yeah.
And then you bring it back, like give me some skin
What?
kind of thing, and then the fingers connect.
Whoa.
Like we're going to thumb war.
Yeah, it does feel like
but
we're
we
going to
don't.
wrestle. You would lose.
We shake it,
Okay.
and then we come back in.
Whoa. Back
We do
into
that.
the arm wrestling pose, over the top.
You do that like 3 times.
Seriously?
That's Sierra Leone and the Gambia. Yeah, Western Africa. You'll do that a lot.
Okay, let's do it fast. I want to try
Yeah.
it again. Okay, this.
Yeah.
Hut.
Yeah.
Hut.
Something like that.
That's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of this
That was really
too,
white.
back and forth, just handshake to thumb.
I don't
So
get
it's a weird thing because greetings are a big important thing in Western Africa, and so
They're a big important thing everywhere.
no, not like
Oh,
not
I'm
like
sorry, I
Western
was
Africa.
wrong.
You have to stop. You have to greet them. Like it is a formal thing. You have to greet them, and then you have to talk about your family and their family, whatever. It's a thing.
You don't do that here?
We do, but I mean, how does that differ here than in Wyoming? Have you noticed a difference?
Yeah. But before I answer that question, the handshake that I encounter in Africa is a little bit different because I'm in Southern Africa when I work there, and it is this. Handshake, up, handshake. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's handshake, arm wrestling position, handshake, out. The other thing, I want to see if you experience this in Africa. The second time I went to teach, a student who I was only a couple years older than came alongside and he's like, I'd like to talk with you. So I was like, sure, man. Yeah, what's on your mind? And so I have college students here who I work with, and sometimes they want to process life or class or whatever, and we sit and we talk about it. It's great, and we make eye contact and stuff. So I start walking with this guy, and he takes my hand on our walk. And I'm
Just like holding your hand.
Yeah, I'm holding hands with a dude right now. And so I've never heard of this, and so in my brain, he's pouring out his heart about what's going on in his life, and I'm like, is this one of these rookie initiation things, like for new teachers at this college?
Dude touching me. Dude touching me.
Where
Dude
some
touching
dude
me.
takes your hand and tries to go for a long walk and everybody's in the bushes,
Yeah.
snapping that and stuff. No, it turned out like maybe that's just a regional thing. Sometimes
Really?
you just hold hands with a dude when you walk and talk about important stuff.
Oh, wow.
I haven't done that since.
Do you want to hold hands now?
No, I really
mean, we're in
don't.
the truck. We can hold hands
I really
and
don't want
podcast.
to. No, it's fine. We did listen to.
My hand's
I'm
right
not
here,
gonna do
Matt.
that. I see it and I'm going to recoil slightly.
My hand is right here. You could take it and we could hold hands
You
and
got
podcast.
really soft, humid climate hands there, but I'm good.
Really?
I'm not going to sit with you in the dark and hold hands on the same night when we intentionally listen to Now I've Had the Time of My Life in a truck by a river.
That is how we warmed up this tonight, did we? We should play a little bit of that now.
I don't know that I want to play a little bit of that. And if we do, like, I want to be Bill Medley this time, because the last 3 times we've done it, I've had to be Jennifer Warnes.
I had the time of my life. Never felt this way before.
Yes, I swear
It's the truth. Owe it all to you. Doom, 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 doom. I'm waiting for so long. I'm
you're the
railing my
dude.
microphone for Tina.
Doom, 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 doom,
I'm adjusting my levels, and I don't know what rhymes with levels, but I just what I do. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of all that. Tell me about Alabama. What have you observed in my home state?
People are nice. They're really nice.
And by nice, you mean inbred hicks that are idiots. Is that what you mean by nice?
I've run into some idiots, but for the most part, I don't know. People have been pretty cool.
Good.
Like, the interaction at restaurants. It's one of the first things you'll notice,
Yeah.
right? Where do you really talk with a stranger that much?
Mhm.
All of the servers have taken maybe 10% extra time. They've been willing to engage about 10% more. You know, they'll joke back a little bit more than where I'm from, or even Colorado. Drive-through people. Dude, they call me hun.
Oh yeah. There's one at the place we just went, Crystal, right?
And not like a marauding invader who's coming to drink your own blood from your severed head skull. Like honey.
Yeah, like honey or sweetie.
Yeah.
Or hey, there's this lady at McDonald's down the road. Every once in a while, I like to get oatmeal and a mocha in the morning, and she'll say, "Hey, baby," and I'll say, "How's it going?" That'd be $3.50 or whatever it is. Actually, it's $4.53. I know exactly how much it costs.
Whoa.
Yeah, and actually, that's for the mocha and the burrito on those days. Anyway, she'll say, "Baby, hun, and darling." Like she'll go through the list in the course of one interaction.
It made me feel weird in Arkansas the first time it happened on the way down here.
Yeah.
I think it was hun that they hit me with, and I was like, I don't. You too, hun. Thank you for the French toast sticks. Like, what do you say back? Like, you can't. I don't know. I didn't know what to do, and now I'm kind of getting used to it, and I'm going to miss it when I leave.
It's just a way to. I mean, it's just a way to interact, and I don't know. It's unique. Does it make you? I mean, is it offensive?
No, of course not. It's just nice and different. Here's something else I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have multisyllabic 3-letter words.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Multisyllabic 3-letter words?
Yeah. Here, like, for example, let me run this in Wyomingite, and then I'll run it in Alabamian. Sure thing. I'll be up in a little bit. You hear a bit just had the one syllable?
Oh, okay.
Sure thing. I'll be up in a little bit.
Bit.
How did you get two? So there's no... It blows my mind.
That's one thing. Dan from the Slow-Mo Guys, he noticed that. He met a family friend of ours named Tim.
Tim?
Tim.
T-E-E.
And he remembered that. He came
I-M-M.
back. He came back after visiting, and he's like, "Hey, man, we going to go see Tim?" Dan said that. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's contagious, man. The accent is not a singular level of Alabaman. People ramp it up depending on what they're talking about. So we were hanging out with a bunch of guys out in a field the other day waiting for a thing to happen, and this dude started talking about, I don't remember what it was, hunting, or I think it was hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all these guys are there, and we were talking with your coworker, whose name I don't remember, is from California.
Yeah.
And so she's the other outsider, and this guy who had been pretty Alabaman as we started to talk about hunting and getting on his waders and getting in the backwoods, and it went to a whole other level. I still understood 80% of what he was saying, but he used expressions I still don't understand.
Well, the funny thing about it is when I asked him, how do alligators like mate? Like, how does that? He goes, boy, boy, or are we're gonna have to go have that conversation?
Oh, that was pretty charming.
I was like, that's pretty endearing.
Yeah, that was pretty endearing.
So, what'd you think about the rocket range?
Okay, that's a little further down my list, but let's just do this thing.
Okay. To be clear, there's a list in front of you on a laptop.
Yeah, I've been keeping this.
What is this list?
This list is all the things I want to talk with my super good friend about, but I'm not going to talk until our conversation is artificially stunted by putting microphones in front of our face.
So you've been keeping a list of things about your sabbatical you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I want this episode to be.
Okay.
Just a conversation about all the stuff that I wanted to talk to you about, and that I thought would be fun to share with everybody else.
You get to see me at the job.
I got to see you at the job.
Yeah.
I understand you so much better after having gone and seen you in your environment at your job.
Yeah.
Observation number 1. The test center where you work is huge.
Yeah.
It's like my county.
Yes.
In terms of population, in terms of, well, surely there's a ton more money in your test center than there is in my whole county. It's crazy what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to your site, and everybody was super nice. You introduced me to probably a dozen people. Everybody was friendly. But the stakes are way higher than I knew you blew stuff up. I just didn't get that. I guess it's just hard to picture blowing things up when you're seeing it from a distance or hearing about it. And then when you see something blow up, you're like, that'd hurt. That hurt a ton because of the explosiveness of it. You wouldn't want anybody to be near that.
It messes with you for the first year.
Really?
It does, yeah.
Tell me, what was the first year like?
You make sure your life's right at all times.
And now you don't? Now you're callous about it?
You just understand. I mean, it's not for little kids. This is the real deal, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really, you got to see a rocket.
Oh, man.
And so you were going to get to see a rocket. And the build
What do you mean was going to get to? I saw a rocket launch.
You did, but do you remember what I told you? I said, okay, here's the deal. We're going to do the countdown. At 0, something's going to happen. If anything goes off nominal, you remember what I said?
Yeah, retreat behind the blast shield.
Yeah. Wasn't it fun when you got to do that?
It sure was. All right. So we're not talking about what kind of rocket it was, right?
No, let's don't talk about anything other than the what went through your brain when you got to retreat behind the blast shield instantly.
Okay. The sound that I expected the rocket to make in my brain was something like this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. The sound that it actually made
good, yeah.
was
Did you know that I reacted to it quicker than you? Were you even aware of that?
I was pretty dialed.
But the movement behind the shield happened because I grabbed your shoulders and moved you.
I didn't even notice that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was already very committed to finding another place to stand. But no, I sensed something had gone awry.
Yeah.
Because of how I picture rockets being more, airborne.
Yeah, there's the thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is what I learned about you from going to your work. You've all got radios. I don't know how many people you got running around. You've all got your little call signs there that you go by. And so you're with your radio there, and people are calling things in about like where you are in the range and how much time you've got, and do I have time to look at this, to check this thing out. And so there's all kinds of communication just for you to take me downrange and show me the results of what you've done. And I won't talk about those results specifically other than to say, wow.
Yeah.
You are testing things that can do things that I guess I didn't think could be done.
Yeah, it's neat stuff.
It's neat stuff.
It is. And what's so cool about it is it's not just one thing you can study. You can't just study one thing and understand all that. You have to, you study whatever you study in school, and then you find like a Yoda, and you get behind Yoda, and that person teaches you a ton of different stuff. And everybody's teaching everybody. There's not one person that you can go to and say, that's the dude that knows everything, because everybody constantly is teaching each other.
It was all business when you blew stuff up, which I loved. Like just seeing a little bit of the protocol was really cool. Seeing how you were gathering data, really cool. And so one, I came to understand how good a fit that job is for your brain. I get why you slip in, you transform into rocket guy.
I can become a jerk at times.
What?
I can become short with people, and it's very difficult to me when you saw the sheer amount of information that was that was communicated with very short bursts of speech.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, is that what you're seeing? Why I get weird sometimes? Is that what you're
Well, yeah,
saying?
that's the other thing I'm saying. That'd be number 2. Is I get now that sometimes your brain shifts into go. What is your thing? Yes, great. Roger that. Bye. Oh,
Right.
So for me, like I'm in a trout stream in Wyoming with the serene sounds of nature, holding a brown trout, unhooking it while I get the phone pinched to my ear. I'm feeling really relaxed, and you're blowing things up. It's about as different as our worlds could
It's life or
possibly
death,
be.
yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, especially when I was first getting to know you, I was like, wow, so we're just being a jerk today. All right, well, we'll see how he's doing tomorrow. But now I get it. It's just a mode.
You've kind of thought that forever. You're like,
no, I said early on.
Okay.
I figured it out. To see you in your environment made it make even more sense.
oh, cool.
No, I do not regularly sit around and think you a jerk. No, it's
What about when my daughter asked you the other day what a jerk was?
she didn't just randomly ask.
So
man.
for the third, I guess it's not a third chair in here, it's the back seat. So for you in the back seat of the truck, for some reason you decided to call somebody a jerk in front of my 3-year-old.
Your stupid cat.
Oh yeah, the cat was being a jerk.
I was lovingly petting your cat when for no reason he started mauling my hand.
Prince Rupert does not mess around. He just
No.
wants you to know that he's the alpha cat, and every once in a while he'll just do it. He'll just wow and just bite you. So you call Prince Rupert a jerk.
He was being a jerk. It was justified.
So my beautiful, cute daughter walks up and says, "What's a jerk?"
What have I done? Oh, what have I done? And I immediately made eye contact with your wife. I was like, looking for guidance. Looking for guidance. Little help here. None came.
So you defined the word jerk.
I did.
And question number 2 was,
Is my daddy a jerk? Oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done?
I don't think you answered that truthfully because I can be a jerk at times, I think. You
Okay,
know?
but no, I did answer that truthfully because she said, so Prince Rupert is a jerk, though? I was like, no. Prince Rupert was being a jerk when he viciously bit me unprovoked. But Prince Rupert isn't a jerk. Just sometimes people can be a jerk.
Yeah,
So I clarified it's a good learning opportunity. I still feel pretty bad about that, man.
It was so cute.
I'm sorry.
Everything about that situation was cute, from her inquisitiveness to your confusion / what have I done-ness. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I forgot what it's like to have small children. I've ruined your child.
I tell you about the exam.
Oh, well, you told me you had one coming up. I don't think I ever got the full.
So this dude, the professor's good, okay? But we had to do this exam, and the idea is, do you understand the concepts? And he throws something on there. I'm just going to say the big words. You had to understand partial differential, whatever. It's...
No. Say the words. Tell me what you had to understand.
Okay, so we did something called Airy's stress function, and it involves a fourth order partial differential equation of a stress function, and you had to do it in Cartesian coordinates, which isn't a big deal, x's and y's.
Cartesian being like coordinates figured out by Rene Descartes.
Like graph paper, yes.
Hey,
exactly.
cool.
I think
Something
therefore
from
I am.
history is useful.
Yeah, you're right. But he made us do it all in polar coordinates. And it's been forever since, okay, so you can take a derivative of something, and it's easy. But if you multiply two things together and then take the derivative of it, you have to use these special rules called the product rule or the quotient rule or all this crap. He pulls that stuff out on the test. And so he gave us 4 very challenging problems, nailed 3 of them quickly. And the 4th one, I'm like, what the heck, dude? Why? We learned this 4 years ago. Why am I having to do this right now? Whatever.
Did it beat you?
Yeah, crushed me.
Did you pass?
I don't know. I haven't got
Weird.
the score yet, but here's the thing that happened to me.
Okay.
So, like, I handed my paper in defeated. I left the room and realized the math that we were doing, the problem itself was just using really fancy words to describe ripping a piece of paper. That's all it was.
You're kidding me.
No. So it didn't hit me till I left the room. I was thinking about, a localized shear stress in polar coordinates coming from one origin on one side of a piece of something, right? I walked out of the room and I was like, what the heck? I just spent an hour and a half trying to calculate the force required to rip a piece of paper.
Okay, let me. We're getting back to sabbatical stuff because I got a list and we got to keep moving.
Oh, yeah, we do.
But I want to know here. So it feels like if you're studying how to rip a sheet of paper, there isn't a ton of really practical application because you can just trial and error that until you figure out like a piece of paper seems to rip under this amount of stress. I mean, you can just do the physical experiment. But what you're doing there is you're practicing for experiments you can't repeat. You're trying to figure out how it works on something simple so that you can do it on something that you really don't want to blow up.
Well, the problem statement didn't say paper. It said something with a Young's modulus of this, which is a modulus of elasticity, which is a measure of the strength of a material. And so you could substitute whatever you want. The Young's modulus, E, for anything is known. So it could be paper, it could be concrete, it could be whatever. It could be a bridge breaking this way. It could be whatever. But the way you do the mechanics of the problem, you just substitute in E of a different value, and you can calculate whatever material. So this bridge collapse, same thing. There was a specific member that was in tension that was supposed to have. I don't really understand it yet. I haven't read the failure report. I don't think there is one yet.
Probably not yet.
Yeah, but anyway.
So, did you tell your professor that that's what it was? Did you tell him that you understood it and that you get what this was effectively designed to diagnose?
I walked up and I said, "You made us do this in polar coordinates. Why the heck did you have a He's a cool guy, so he knows what he did. He's not an idiot. And he's cool enough where you can be like, I see what you did there.
But did you tell him paper?
No, I did not.
Dude, what if that was the test?
And you just get up and like
what
rip
if it's
your
like
paper?
a wizard test? If you get up, you take the test he gave you, you rip it in half, you get a PhD right there on the spot. Like people come out and they give you the hat and the little snazzy vest thing, and they just give you a PhD.
I missed that.
Like at the beginning of Willow. Do you remember when the...
No, I don't.
Yeah, dude, it's like when the high, whatever it is, Billy Barty's character is like, which finger has the power to change the world? And he holds up his hand, and all the little apprentice wannabes are like, oh, that finger. But then Willow's like, I should point to my own finger. But he didn't have the courage to do it.
And that was the answer?
It was his own finger. You should have pointed to your own finger and got a PhD for free. I think you missed a real opportunity.
I'm going to do that next time.
That sounds mind-numbingly difficult. Learning new things is humbling. This episode of No Dumb Questions is brought to you by Audible. And Audible says, and I strongly agree, that Audible is good for making you a better you. I know you have been a fan of this company since forever.
Dude, I reclaim my commute by listening to audiobooks. And Ender's Game is the one that everyone needs to listen to right now.
Did you finish that yet?
Yeah.
So we are good to go.
We're on, yeah. We're going to talk about Ender's Game after the Ready Player One movie review.
Yep.
And Ender's Game is an amazing book. People have mixed feelings about the movie, but the book is incredible. I really like the production value on this particular book. So if you go to audible.com/NDQ, then you can get a free 30-day trial, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Or you can do that via text by texting NDQ to 500-500.
Yeah, so do that. Listen to that book. Be ready for that podcast because we're going to go into great detail. It's a very thought-provoking book, and a lot of it mirrors politics that's happening in the world right now.
It's one of those books that was ahead of its time. That book is from 1985.
Yeah. I mean, it basically predicted iPads. It predicted... There's a lot.
The internet being a popular learning tool. I mean, it's all over the place. We're gonna ruin it if we do this right now.
Okay, yeah.
I will tell you this. My feelings on the movie are not mixed.
Okay.
You mentioned some people have mixed feelings. Not me. Not mixed at all. We went and watched it again. But the book, it got under my skin. It got into my veins the same way Ready Player One did.
Yes.
So I mean, we were sitting in the car with all three kids, stalling in parking lots on the drive down on sabbatical to get in more Ender's Game.
I let the kids listen to it, just like one chapter. And my oldest son was like, "What? Why are they doing that to him, Daddy?" I was like, "Well, I mean, sometimes there's bullies in the world, son, and you've got to." We shouldn't do this because we want to talk about it right now, don't we?
Ender has to believe that no adult will ever help him. Destin.
Ender Wicked. That's I love
that guy's voice is something.
It is fantastic.
And then there's the incredibly empathetic girl
Do not
voice.
talk about that right now. Do not talk about this.
Destin. Everyone should
Okay,
go
anyway, if you want to download the audiobook,
/NDQ.
If you want to download this audiobook, go to audible.com/NDQ. Please do that because it is a fantastic book, and I would love to discuss this with you, Matt, and with the audience in general.
Okay, one more note.
What?
Audible is actively making my sabbatical better.
Yeah.
Because we have also grabbed content that we can jump back and forth between the audiobook and the Kindle app.
Really?
Did you know you can do that?
No.
Yeah, the way the app's set up now, you can bounce around, you can read part, you can listen to part. Pretty cool. A couple of things that we've been working through is, you remember the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I've had it suggested to me, but I've never read it.
It's worth your time.
Really?
I always thought I was above it. I'll be honest. I
Really?
felt like, I think I know what I'm doing, because I think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then something in me was like, you know what? This is a time for learning.
Huh.
Maybe I don't know what I'm doing about everything. I should start by consuming this book that everybody's told me I should read. It's brilliant.
But don't do that right now because everyone needs to listen to Ender's Game.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not going to say no.
There's the problem with Audible. It has too much good stuff. See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
That really is my issue, though. I have 3 things going at once right now, and I'm listening to all of it because I had some credits to burn, and I've earned them.
That's awesome. Very good. Audible.com/NDQ. Thank you so much to Audible for supporting this podcast, and thank you for supporting the sponsor. Okay, I had some follow-up from the last episode.
Are we still sabbaticalizing in a minute here?
We will.
Okay, all right.
But I just want to point some
It's
stuff
important,
out.
man. I have a list.
Number one, a lot of people had things to say about the death penalty, but one thing I want to tell you is, you remember in that episode we talked about the failed, execution in Alabama?
Yeah.
Since that episode, the governor has signed into law the use of nitrogen gas as a way to kill people with hypoxia. So do you remember that video
With
I made?
hypoxia?
Yeah, you know the video I made where I don't want to die? Why you put your mask on first?
Yeah.
And I went all stupid. You remember?
Of course I remember. It was
That's now an approved...
That's one of your best videos ever.
I
It's
enjoyed
phenomenal.
it, and I don't remember part of it.
You
but
enjoyed it. Yeah. What a great time.
That is now an approved execution method in Alabama. Isn't that weird? Yeah, I know, it's strange. Anyway, I just want to tell you that. Also, I wanted to say the gun thing.
I don't know what to make of that. Okay, yeah, the gun thing.
Yeah, everybody hates you.
Well, okay, we knew.
Yeah.
There's just no way we're going to have any kind of conversation where we say anything we actually think and have it not get weird.
Yeah, but I think the whole point was to demonstrate how to disagree in a civil way, and at the end of the day, still be friends.
Yeah.
Right? That's the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, and I've literally one thing I regret about 2 hours of largely unedited conversation, and that is I did not explore the other side of why kids would protest, and I just should have. For 2 hours?
Yeah, that was
otherwise,
that was raw. It was pretty good.
Hey, that's what I think.
Yeah, so anyway.
That's what I think, and I think I could be wrong on all of that, but I care about consistent, and I really, really like civil rights and civil liberties and people having the freedom to do stuff if they're not hurting people. So there may be better solutions than mine, and I heard a lot of people proposing solutions other than mine in the subreddit and in the last week, and it's been fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, the tone of the discussion in the r/NoDumbQuestion subreddit was pretty civil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have no gripes with any of that.
Yeah. And so I guess I would say anybody that goes to that subreddit or r/NDQ, my preference is that if you are listening to this and you are clicking the first link under, the description here on this podcast, and you're going to that subreddit and you're participating in the discussion, just please be civil, whatever it is. I think that goes so far.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's something we hear back a lot is, I'd say one of the biggest points of feedback we get is about the way the conversation goes, not between us even, but just with people who listen. The live event that we did in Wyoming, that was a diverse group. That was not a ton of people who just blindly think the same stuff we do. It was fun. Somebody was there, and I overheard them before they knew who I was. And they were like, I just saw Matt's name on the church. That he's a pastor kind of ruins it for me. And I ended up sitting by them while they ate, and they were cool. It works out. So I like that. I like that I don't have to pretend to think things I don't actually think to make people happy who listen to this podcast.
And I really like the feedback that we got from that one person. And you know the one I'm talking about, the guy that sent us a video.
Oh, golly. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, I don't understand why, but I agree with Matt, and I shouldn't because he's a pastor. He said, I tend to agree with Matt more than I agree with you. So anyway, the point is, I think the civil discussion is awesome. And that's the whole, like the ability to disagree and to critically think with other individuals, I think is a really important skill.
I'll tell you, for me, that is about more than just some tacit agreement that truth must be at the exact 50% mark between positions. I think that creates a false ability to disagree nicely with each other, because then it rewards people going to the radical extremes to try to move that 50% mark toward their end. I don't mean we can get along because truth must be halfway between what we think. Even in total disagreement and saying, I get your motives, I see what you're going for, then you can disagree with somebody even if you don't think truth is halfway in between.
Recently, I was asked if I wanted to throw my name in the hat for Google's got this initiative, this truth in media or this media literacy type thing.
Yeah, I figured you'd bring that up when you wanted to bring that up.
Well, I think it applies to this conversation.
Yeah.
So I asked you to think all that stuff through with me. Mm-hmm. And you were actually in the room when I recorded my little video for those guys. And we were talking it through. We're like, man, we want to get this right because we want people to be able to watch the news and actually get the truth, not just whatever their echo chamber tells them they should hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the coolest thing we came up with together was just something I haven't thought about. I used to watch Fox News and CNN and say, okay, well, the truth's probably in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this continuum, and the truth is like right, you just average those out.
I think that is a common fallacy that people who just want to make nice with others will arrive at.
And it's horse crap.
It is horse crap.
Because
Total
sometimes
horse crap.
the truth is on the CNN's website.
Whether
CNN, what am I doing?
The CNNers?
The CNN. And then sometimes the truth's on the Fox News, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes truth aligns with your narrative, and sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that we talked about when we were working on that is how much we know that our chosen news outlets lie to us to reinforce the narrative we already have, and it doesn't make us mad. We like them for it. Tell me more of what I want to hear and how I want things to be.
Well, I mean, to be clear, you're not saying we know that we like them for lying to us. You're saying that's just subconsciously what happens.
Yeah. And maybe sometimes we even do know, and we just make that deal with the devil.
Mm.
And so I feel like honest disagreement, where you assume that the intentions of the other person are of goodwill, is fun. When you start getting to a place where you assume the other person is lying and intentionally avoiding facts that you might support your narrative or their narrative or whatever, that's when it gets yucky. I think if other people have the benefit of the doubt in a conversation, it goes well.
And that's what I like about the subreddit.
I agree.
Straight up. People are cool there. I really like the things that start by, the first sentence is, I don't agree with anything you said, but I like those comments.
Yeah.
And I also like people that respond to people in disagreement and they say, good point.
Yeah. One other thing that I think sets you up to disagree well, I've been thinking about for a few years now, and that is just the issue of what are the stakes of the disagreement. If we're disagreeing about something that doesn't matter and doesn't affect anybody, that's pretty easy. But it's when we start disagreeing about things that might affect your life, and I have a strong opinion about it, that things get weird, which is part of why I think I'm so attracted to this live and let live thing. So one of my filters in my brain is if there's any way for me to hold an opinion that gives you the freedom to just do whatever you were going to do without hurting anybody, I want to hold that opinion, no matter how much I dislike what you're into. And I think part of the reason it gets hot between us, not like you and me, but like in debate with people, is because we sort of opened this Pandora's box where like, whoever wins, to the victor goes the spoils. If our side ever does win, we are going to put you under our boot and you will do all the things we want you to do. That's icky.
Speaking of live and let live, thanks for going to visit my uncle in the hospital with me.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It was nice to meet him.
Yeah. And I especially enjoyed the truck ride down with my aunt.
That was remarkable. Can we talk about the trivia question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is that risky?
She's not going to ever listen to the podcast.
Okay, because that was an amazing trivia
It's not like
question.
Chuck Yeager, right? All these people. What's up with you people that tweeted Chuck Yeager?
Seriously.
When I
Some
said
people had your
don't.
back, but you clearly said don't,
Golly, man.
which means having your back is leaving him alone.
Yeah.
How many people have you blocked on Twitter who've sent you pictures of your watch?
Don't
since
even
then?
worry about it. Don't even worry about it, women. No, so my aunt, two things that were just absolutely lovely because I know her, right?
Yeah.
And when she decided to inform you that Gerald Ford did not have a vice president, and you were trying to sort through that in your brain, like, this is Destin's aunt. What do I do?
Yeah, that was tricky, wasn't it? Like,
It wasn't for me. I enjoyed every second of it. Yeah, Matt, tell me about how he didn't have a vice president.
I was like, but I think he did, ma'am. Nope.
Nope, sure didn't.
Well, I think you sort of have to.
Nope,
you
sure
do
didn't.
not. I think it was Nelson Rockefeller.
Rockefeller? You've been in Alabama too long. No, just to see the smoke coming out your ears, and I just was driving
Smoke,
down.
I wasn't mad.
No, the smoke, like you were trying to.
Oh, the processing smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
heat
You were
sinks.
trying to figure
Okay.
out how to address that situation. I think she beat you.
I think she might
She was
have.
playing 4D chess, man.
Dude, if that was an elaborate prank on her part, she's an impressive lady.
I don't think it was.
Okay, I kind of hope it was. So a couple of really interesting things happened in one day while we were hanging out here. One, you got to drop the puck at a hockey game.
Yep.
Have you ever done that before?
Never. I had no idea what to do.
That was a neat opportunity.
Yeah, the UAB Blazers, they
Mm-hmm.
call themselves Fire on Ice. It's a club team. They invited us down, and they let my son kind of warm up with them before
Yeah,
the game,
yeah.
which is something that just blew his mind. He really likes hockey, not a lot of opportunities here. And he warmed up with them, and they let me drop the puck, and he got to face off with the Fort Benning team.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Those were large men.
Yeah, it was a really good hockey game, too.
I got into it, man.
I did, too. I didn't think it was
fired
going to
up
be
by
any
the
good,
end.
but it was fantastic.
It really was.
Yeah.
Bit of a scoring fest.
Yeah.
The goaltending got a little thin as we went along, but it was fun hockey, and I cared.
I cared, too.
And so did the other, what would you say, 50 people who were there to watch you drop the
There
puck?
weren't many people there. They were playing at a different place than normal.
At a different time. So it was like a game they had to reschedule.
Exactly. And they were like, Destin, we really don't want you to come drop the puck at this one. I was like, no, I think this is exactly where I need to drop the puck.
And then they showed your hockey slow motion camera video during one of the intermissions. That was pretty
really
fun.
cool.
Yep.
To see the Zamboni driving underneath and see in the video, I really enjoyed it.
Did you get video of that? Of you on the screen
You
with the
tweeted it.
Zamboni? Oh, yeah. Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess somebody got video of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So then we get done with that, and something comes through. I don't remember where, a tweet or something, and somebody said, you need to go see Captain Disillusion's latest video.
Oh, dude. That was fantastic. So basically what he did is he parodied several different science and education YouTubers.
Yeah.
But he did it to teach you about green screens.
Yes.
And so I had this unique experience where I'm watching someone parody me on a YouTube video, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm critiquing him on how he's acting like me, or the parts where he's making fun of me in a fun way.
Yeah.
Or learn about green screen. And so I watched it the first time like, whoa, this is weird. I'm watching me. And the second time I watched it and actually learned things about how to set up a green screen.
It is a phenomenal video.
It was great.
My favorite line
You
is
wanna
when
say
he
it?
gets done parodying you, and he's like, now look, I'm just a simple rocket engineer.
Why is that funny?
Because he's calling you on your shtick.
What's my shtick?
It's your shtick. Oh, it's just, hey, it's me, Destin. My hat's all dirty and messy and whatnot, and I'm just throwing this together or whatever last minute because I just had a second, and this thing just interested me a little bit. Now, here is a complex differential equation to explain how it works. But anyway, y'all, I thought that was kind of interesting.
What is the
Hope you
shtick?
had
What are you
fun.
saying?
The shtick is that if you wanted to, not even if you wanted to, for your work, you go 8 miles deep into the content that you're into regarding physics and engineering and rocketry. And then when you make videos, you do a really good job of making it so other people can come and be a part, by using accessible language, which is good. Your shtick is good. It's not even your shtick, it's just who you are.
That's what I was about to say.
But he called you on it.
He did call me on it. It was fantastic. I texted him, and he was like, I am so sorry. That's all he said.
Seriously?
That's all he said.
Nothing to be sorry for.
I still have to have that phone call with him. We should have him on one time. He might be too big for us, though.
No, he parodied you. He owes you.
Oh, yeah. Let's work that angle.
It's mandatory. Definitely work that angle.
Everyone tweet Captain Disillusion and ask him about his watch.
Oh, now we're on to something. Blocked.
Blocked.
Okay, but so you know.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, I have told you how much I respect your approach. Because I think what you do, like all joking aside about...
Well, I don't need to hear this right now, but what I do need to tell you is about the time...
Like tough luck.
What?
I feel like tough luck. I'm going to go ahead and finish that thought. I think what you do really well is that you make everybody, regardless of education level or interest level, feel like they're welcome at the cool kid table, the cool kid engineering table. You make it so that they can come in and jump in, but at the same time, every video you do, you throw at least a bone to the people who are really into it, want to see a little bit of the hardcore science, but you bring us back out of that deep dive quick enough that people like me still feel like, hey, I got invited into the conversation and I learned things and I understood that.
That's intentional.
Well, of course it's intentional.
Well, like I've got this chart that I made about the amount of personal engagement versus technical engagement.
Of course there's a chart.
Yeah. And so like I start every video, I've told you, I start every video like, just being me. And then I ramp it up gradually until I always want to spike in the video somewhere so that even a PhD studying the topic can learn something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the deepest thing I learned, or, very deep. And then I just ramp it back down.
So pointing out somebody's style is not a dig. It's a nod of appreciation to see, I see what you're doing. It's obviously working.
He did that with everyone,
and I get it. Yes, he did.
He did that with Polyakov. He did that with, everyone that he parodied. It was fantastic.
It demonstrated not just getting their style, but understanding their philosophy, which is what made it so smart.
Captain Disillusion is, I've got to believe this, in the best possible way, he's OCD. He's got to be. And he is, details matter to him, and that's why he's good. But I'm going to push back on it being shtick. I remember.
Oh boy, it's just that word. It's just that I used the word.
10 years ago, I was at work.
Okay.
There was this guy from California, and he was there, and we were pulling extension cords off, from one really far away place to another. And I took the cords and I did a square knot, looped them through itself, so if you pull the cord, it wouldn't pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "What is that?" And this is an older gentleman. He was probably 65 at the time. I said, "Oh yeah, it's just mechanical stress relief so that we don't." And he looks at me and laughs and he goes, "Why do you guys do that?" I said, "Do what?" "It's so we don't pull the extension cords out." No, it's not what I'm talking about. You kind of walk around and act like you're bumbling idiots, but you do really smart things and you're really smart people. Why do you act stupid? And I'll never forget, I said, "Tom, I'm not acting stupid." And so it's like, this is a shtick, man. We just talk slow.
You know what that's really about?
What?
What it's really about, it's a combination of two things. It's Alabama.
Yeah.
So people just have assumptions about how smart people from Alabama are, and we've at length talked about why those are silly assumptions. And it's the engineer thing. You look at the world different than most people, and if somebody isn't an engineer, your world is intimidating. We don't get it. We don't understand it. We don't speak the language. Normal people have certain level of math, and then we stop. We never get back into it. Whereas my stuff, everybody kind of imagines they're sort of an expert at what I do, right?
I don't, but whatever.
Yeah, everybody knows some names of some people from how hard can it be? Just Google it, right?
Right.
Whereas I can't Google what you do.
Because you're trying. But okay, thank you for the state of Alabama and engineering in general. Thank you for the compliment. But I have a question. Okay, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Surely, since you've been here, you have experienced something that is like something you would expect in a movie or something.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Yes, actually, I took a day. Well, I don't know. Friday, you were doing something else, and I went and hung out with a dude who watches the 10-Minute Bible Hour and who I've connected with here. He's from your neck of the woods.
Wade.
Okay, all right. So we're using a name. Wade.
Yeah.
Is a fly fisherman.
Yeah.
And I like his style. And so he wanted to take me out and show me what it's like to fly fish for bass. I've never done anything like that. I only catch trout, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, I got this great spot. We'll start there. So we drove up there. I pulled out 2 little brim in the first 5 minutes, and then a guy came up and ran us off. because apparently the water touched like a hoity-toity.
Is this where you call it 28?
Fancy place. It's all part of the same day.
Oh, okay.
We had a good day.
Okay.
26 maybe between us? I don't think it was 28. It was good, whatever it was.
Okay.
So he ran us off because we were too close to fancy hoity-toity things.
Okay.
So we go down river, and Wade is like, there's another place down here. It's pretty remote. It'll work. And we get down there to the bottom of this river, and honestly, it looks like people just brought bags of trash
Really?
and just emptied it into your forest.
Really?
I was like, who does this? How does this get here? It's not like, oh, somebody dropped a bottle. This is like flagrant, I don't care kind of negligence. So that was obnoxious. And then we followed this little trail back along the creek, and it is beautiful if it weren't for the trash. Gorgeous turquoise water running against this, I don't know what kind of rock you have here. Is that granite? But running along this rock wall, and I cannot wait to get a line in the water. Well, we get up to the end of this run, and there's this whole primitive shelter thing up there. Not something for the weekend. And there's nobody there. No campfire burning. But this is public land. I mean, it's just a place where people go and fish, and there's a rope swing. People hang out there.
Yeah.
So, we pull out some line and start casting against that rock wall. Hear some scuffling behind us, and here comes this kid. Like, he's got kind of the crazy wild man beard, not like a refined, attractive gentleman's beard.
Like yours, of course.
Thank you. But like a crazy wild man beard, and like my last haircut was a couple years ago, kind of crazy. And he's wearing this real shaggy sweatshirt. He's got his right hand in his sweatshirt pocket, and it's on something. Can't tell what. But, I greeted him and everything. Oh, hello, sir. And we're over here fishing.
Like Napoleon? Like his hands in his vest kind of thing?
No, not like that's a good reference. See, everybody knows history.
Yeah.
No, like in his saggy sweatshirt pocket down in there. And so he walks up to us. And if you're no threat to someone.
But just one hand.
Just one hand, right hand. If you're no threat to someone, how do you present yourself to them in the wilderness?
You go shake their hand.
Hands are out.
Yeah.
Shake hand or wave so they see both hands.
Yeah.
It's part of why salutes used to be a thing. Here are my eyes. You can trust me, right? Lift a visor so that another knight can see who you are. This kid walks right up behind me and stands about 25 feet.
Wait a second. You're saying salutes, like military salute when you put your hand up to the top of your head?
Yeah.
That has to do with like lifting your helmet thing on a knight?
Yeah. So the salute, I believe, is derived from raising the visor on a knight's helmet.
Really?
So that other people can recognize which knight is under that armor.
Really?
Whoop. Yeah. And that just translates into a
And so that
salute,
morphed, that
gesture of
evolved
trust.
into like putting your hand up there.
Yeah. I think that's why there's even a tip of a cap. I think they're all related gestures.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Could be
Go
making
ahead.
stuff up.
That was
Whatever.
cool.
So this guy comes and stands about 25 feet behind me, straight behind me, and just starts mumbling a conversation with us. And so I move, because I don't like that. And every time I shift, he just shifts with me just a little bit.
To stay behind you.
Right, so that no matter what, I have to look over my left shoulder and can't see his right hand in his right pocket very well. And I'm like,
That's not cool.
This isn't right. This is weird. So I'm striking up a conversation with him. I'm like, you just set up a campsite out here? Is you thinking about doing this for the whole summer? It's a nice setup. It's like, no, I'll only be here until tomorrow. Okay, well, you built basically a house.
As long as it takes to bury your body. kind of thing.
Yeah, seriously. I look back there, and he's continuing to shift on me. Like, so you just hanging out here by yourself? Just doing like a self-discovery, like summer camping thing? No, my girlfriend's here. Oh, I don't see her. I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah.
Where is she? There's no car. There's no bike. There's no vehicle. And he keeps shifting on me. So I just reel in, right? Turned around, walked straight toward him, held out my hand. Like, hey, my name's Matt. He pulled his hand out of his pocket, and he shook my hand. I made long eye contact.
How many bobs did you do the handshake?
A Wyoming handshake.
Okay.
I wasn't being too strategic there.
Okay.
And we just showed ourselves out, and he just kind of pivoted, watched us leave.
You're saying it was just creepy. That it was like Deliverance.
Ooh, that's a good reference. Yeah, it had those kind of overtones. I did not like it.
Oh.
Neither did Wade. So that was bizarre, man. So then, have you ever caught a red-eyed bass?
No.
Have you ever seen one?
Just the picture you sent me?
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I sent you that while I was in the river. We didn't wear waders or anything, and we couldn't quite We were in this clear water stream finally where no one was yelling at us.
You think a guy named Wade would have waders?
Yeah, you know? You know? And so I'm like, hey, when am I coming back? I want the bass. We can't reach the spot where they are with our casting range. So I jumped in the water with my shoes and my pants on and waded in there. And sure enough, the red-eye bass were all along that far wall of this third place we went to. And we started doing pretty well. These things are beautiful, man. They've got like this light blue shield on their gill plate and bright red, like vampire eyes.
You know what the gill plate's called?
The
opercular flap.
Yes. How do I know that?
I made a video on how fish eat.
Oh, it's because I watch Smarter every day.
Shut up. Don't mock me.
No, I really didn't remember. I genuinely didn't remember. That is why
No, I learned that from Dr. Jamie Seymour. So when a fish eats, it's a pressure thing. They'll open their mouth, and what that does is that increases the volume on the inside, and that starts flow coming inside their mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll blow open the opercular flap. It's called the operculum. They'll blow it open on each side, and that lets the water jet out because it's the momentum, right? The fluid momentum has to be conserved, so that water has to go somewhere. They can't just open their mouth and take things in because it'll push their whole body back. So they have to dump that momentum out their gills.
Well, how about that?
Okay, red-eye bass, go ahead.
As my world is changing as I process that out. Yeah, so at any rate, we caught a bunch of them. And it was really neat, and we had fun, and I got to hold beautiful fish and got pictures, and I also got to get Popeyes afterwards, which I love.
Nice.
Thank you, South, for Popeyes, by the way.
What do you think about the food here?
I'm going to answer that question in a minute.
Okay.
So we're sitting at Popeyes, processing out the day. Wade's finishing up his order. I'm going to go wash the fish smell off my hands. And this young lady just walks up to me right there in Popeyes, brand new Popeyes, lovely facility. We were treated wonderfully. And she says, "Oh, look at you. You're so handsome." It kind of reaches out to touch me.
She's taking your order?
No, this is just some girl.
Okay.
Just some, maybe she was taking my order, if you know what I'm saying. And I was like, oh, I know what this is.
She hit on you?
No, dude. There was interest in a financial transaction as I watched the way the rest of this shook out.
What?
So I pretty quickly identified that's what the deal was because no one would actually think that about me. If she'd complimented the beard, well, that might be believable.
You're saying she was propositioning you?
Yes. So
I never in my life had that happen.
I've had that happen a few times. I guess I look gullible. So I responded by saying, "Why, thank you, young lady. What a lovely compliment." And then I went on my way to wash my hands in the bathroom. She looked so discouraged when that was my response. Like, it was just the hands on the hip. Well, that is so thoughtful, kind of thing. and so
those are the most Alabama stereotypical. Those are pretty good.
It was an amazing day. But in general, it's been great. I love your church.
Yeah.
Your pastor is elite.
Steve's solid.
In terms of the craft of standing in front of people and talking and understanding his audience, elite. And just his scholarly brain. He's phenomenal, man.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, you're spoiled.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. We call it, or I call it, the thinking man's church. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly would.
I enjoy it. Anyway, thank you. I'm glad you've had fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have a few churches here, by the way, too.
We
It's
have
so
a lot.
Weird, man.
Yeah.
You know how many churches are between my house and work? There's the one. Okay, I'm bouncing all over the place here. I'm sorry, but I've got a list and I'm excited. I deleted Facebook this week.
What?
Yeah.
Good for you. Fist bump right there.
Yeah, thanks.
Boom.
So when did you delete yours?
I haven't.
Oh.
And the reason I haven't is because there's a Smarter Everyday page, and there's like 1.5 million people that have clicked on it.
Well, no problem. Just make like another account for like some schmo.
But here's the thing.
Give it admin power and then delete your own.
Oh, that's interesting. But here's the thing. These people have clicked to sign up to follow Smarter Every Day. So like when I make a video, I'll throw it up there.
Yeah.
They expect to see it. If I post a video on the Smarter Everyday Facebook page that's supposedly supposed to go out to 1.5 million people, it will be viewed approximately 1,000 times.
Are you kidding me?
That's how many thumbs ups it'll get. Of course, Facebook says it gets viewed like hundreds of thousands of times, but obviously it doesn't.
No.
Isn't that weird?
Facebook cheats the numbers.
Isn't that interesting that they are becoming a smoking crater right now?
Oh, they're not an honest company, and we've known that for a long time.
Yeah.
And you don't have to agree with me on that. I don't know who you're connected to or who you know. I dislike Facebook. I've disliked Facebook forever.
I am on the record for not agreeing with Facebook. Right?
Okay. All right.
I made a video about Facebook freebooting.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like, that may or may not have sent shockwaves through Facebook. I mean, I was, it's a big deal.
They're going to come unraveled, man.
It is. And it's unfortunate because there's some things they do that I agree with and I love. Like they are, I can't remember if it's Project Loon or Project Aguila. They're trying to make, you don't know about this. Okay, so they're trying to make drones, solar-powered drones, that'll just orbit, and it'll orbit over a city, and it'll provide internet access to a very remote location.
Why do we need Facebook to do that?
I don't
what
know.
if we could have somebody do that, but not make creepy software that sells off every single phone call you've made, every phone record and text record to people who buy it?
Facebook did that?
That's what they're accused of right now. This latest Facebook data breach, or I don't even know that it was a breach. It was more like a sale. Is like for Android users, it lists like every text you sent, not the text of it, but who it went to, everything that was outgoing and incoming for calls and text.
Really?
Yuck! I don't want that out there.
Okay, so here's the deal. Facebook is awful. We agree.
Okay, cool.
But they own Instagram. Instagram isn't awful.
Huh.
In terms of a user experience. Are you on Instagram?
That's true. Facebook is, even if Facebook wasn't some weird, creepy organization, and even if Mark Zuckerberg wasn't in charge of Facebook, still the UI is horrible at this point.
It is, but
horrible.
So
and no one is on it who's doing anything interesting anymore.
I posted a tweet earlier today that said, basically, does technology make you more social or less social? But I included an important caveat. I said, if you're honest with yourself.
Oh.
Does social media... No, I didn't say social media. I said technology. Okay, so I'm going to just ask you straight up.
Okay.
If you are honest with yourself, does technology make you more social or less social?
Less social. Wrote about that in the book that I did, that I saw on your desk. Thanks, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes you less social. I think it reduces your need for knowledge because you get like beer muscles make you artificially strong. I think Google muscles make you artificially...
What are beer muscles? I don't understand the reference.
I don't know. Like if you get liquored up, you suddenly think you can beat everybody up.
Oh, I see.
You know, you get the artificial drugged up or alcoholed up muscle. And likewise, I think Google creates an artificial brain muscle where we mistake knowledge for wisdom because anything can be accessed through little black boxes like that. So I think it makes me feel smarter, but it makes me actually less smart sometimes. And further, I think it makes me less social because I just reach my social fill before I even actually interact with humans because I've just had enough sometimes. What do you got?
So it's 45% people say technology makes them more social and 55% say less. But some of the people that are actually providing responses, they said, and I said, here's the exact thing the tweet said. If you're honest with yourself, would you say technology makes you, and then pick and explain, more social, less social? Someone said less social with their close relationships in real life, but more social with strangers. I think that's exactly what happens.
That's a good read.
One reply was less social, and this was a young lady. She said, less social. I replied to this post while at dinner with my friends.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's pretty honest.
I've tried to turn my phone over and put it face down on sabbatical more often.
How you doing with that?
Sometimes I just forget out of habit. Like it's like a third arm, and I just have to scratch it or make sure it's doing okay.
Really?
But I've had it off more. I've had it turned over more, and I'm going to try to double my effort this week.
So how is your life going to change now that you've deleted Facebook? What did you expect would happen? And B, is that happening?
Oh, like 10 people came back and were like, okay, and that was it. Nothing
Well, you
happened.
said I'm going to delete Facebook.
Yeah,
like
and I went out of my way to be like, hey, this isn't all dramatic. Nobody did anything. Nothing's wrong. It's just this has kind of run its course. So just wanted you to know, like, you can get me this way if you're interested. Okay, see y'all.
So how did it work? Did you make a post on Facebook and say, hey, everybody, I'm about to delete this?
Yeah, I
Or
just let them know so that if they wanted to track me down, they could chase my email that I left in that post.
Okay, so your Facebook account still exists and that post still exists.
For a few more days.
Okay.
And then ultimately it gets completely deleted, I'm told.
Oh, wow.
But I've quit posting things that matter on Facebook. I haven't done it in years.
Really?
Yeah, I really moved past that.
So I read a tweet by Zuko, the guy that, was on the founding board of Zcash.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Really into privacy. I like reading what he has to say. He said, I didn't delete Facebook. I changed who I was on Facebook. So he went through and he manually took down all of his data. He manually edited all of his posts. And then he changed his person on there to some random name, Gomez or something crazy like that. Changed the name and then just gave his password up on some really weird forum. And his thought was,
clever.
Yeah, by doing that, he would basically contribute to how bad Facebook is.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, on the way out the door, he gave him a spoonful of poison. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, and he also kind of maybe accidentally gave the middle finger to all of his friends there, too. Like, congratulations, now you're friends with some rando from the internet. Enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. It's not going to change my life at all. Visibly, I'm just tired of them having access to any of my stuff.
Yeah.
And so hopefully it's an investment in down the road.
I'm certainly scared of Facebook on the phone.
Don't do it. Like,
yeah.
Everybody who knows security says it's like the biggest risk.
Okay, so here's the deal. So I've got this Android now, right?
Yeah.
I got the Samsung. Now, I don't know what the heck's going on. You've been teaching me the last couple of days how to do stuff. I just noticed earlier today, Facebook is on here. Look, right there. If I hold in, I can't delete it. Did you see that?
Yeah, apparently it's not removable on this generation. We'll look into that.
What the heck? Remove from home. But like actually holding in, why can't I remove this app from my...
Because no one actually owns their phone.
I bought this straight from Samsung.
Right. No one actually owns their phone as long as there's proprietary software. You don't really own your phone.
What?
I disagree that that's how it should be, but that's how phone manufacturers treat it.
But if I disable... Oh, wait. Facebook and all the features related to it will be disabled.
That's what I do.
Why can't I delete it?
I want it deleted, but instead I go with what they'll give me, which is disable.
That means Facebook paid Samsung to do that.
That is correct.
And that means Samsung said yes, and that means Facebook is using this piece of device to collect information on me.
Unless it doesn't know who you are.
That means there's a contract between Facebook and Samsung.
It does.
What the heck, man?
What the heck with all of it? This used to be fun. It's become less fun. It feels more insidious now. But now we're so used to stuff that insidiousness is something we would just tolerate. I don't like it. Did you see this this aspect of the spending bill, the gigantic fiscally conservative spending bill?
No.
That's like $1.5 trillion that included all this pork that got thrown in at the last minute, and part of it is this this international deal. I don't know if this part got approved. I got to look this up. This international deal where your data is accessible without a warrant to foreign governments if they request it.
What?
Yeah.
Without a warrant?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
How do you slide something like that in?
Did you see? It was a 3,000 multi-thousand page bill. There was not time to read it between the time it was finalized and the time they voted. There wasn't even time to print it between the time it was finalized and the time they voted.
I saw Rand Paul was live tweeting him reading it.
Uh-huh. He got through 600 pages.
Yeah.
He did like a tweet for every page, trying to be like, hey, here's what your $1.5 trillion is going to get spent on. Thought you might want to know. Sorry, I wasn't able to get through any more than like 20% of it for you.
Did you see he ordered a pizza and he was reading it?
No, I didn't see that.
What I like about Rand Paul is that nobody likes him.
Yeah, except me.
Well, I mean, like the
met
Republicans
that
don't
dude.
like him, the Democrats don't like him,
No.
which tells you he's doing something right.
Yes. Don't agree with every single thing that guy thinks, but in general, I think he's got a good outlook on things. And I'd like the government to read every single bill they pass.
Yeah.
I'd like for someone to have read it before it becomes enforceable with guns.
Oh God. Okay, I'm getting hot.
All right, is that how
I'm
it
getting
is?
angry. I gotta open this door.
Okay.
I'm opening the door.
All right, me too.
Golly, can you hear the cicadas?
Yeah, let's let them run. I kind of like that. They're not as pronounced as they were earlier.
Oh wow.
This is the beginning of cicada season?
Yeah.
Cool.
It gets crazy.
I've heard it on the phone with you to the point where it disrupted conversations
Yes,
through the phone.
it can. It's like a pulsing of the jungle. It's like something you'd see in Avatar.
That's pretty cool. Okay, last thing from sabbatical stuff.
Yeah.
You ever watch The Office?
Yeah, totally.
The Steve Carell NBC show?
Yeah.
The British version or just the U.S. version?
With Rainn Wilson, just the U.S. version.
Okay. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yes.
We watched it as it was coming out. It was the only show we faithfully watched on release through all the years, you know. And then we went back and watched it again, you know, right after that. And so it's been maybe 5 years, and we're going through the whole thing again. And I've always had this weird relationship with Michael Scott, Steve Carell's character, the boss. When I watched it before, like I'd have to cover my eyes like it was a horror movie.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
You'd physically cover your eyes.
There's an episode where he goes to a wedding, and the things he does socially at that wedding out of insecurity and social neediness are so stunning to me. You can see it in his eyes, and you can see it coming, and you know what he's going to do, and I just have to pause it, and I roll away. I was reacting physically as I was watching this with my wife.
to a show.
Yeah, she had a bruise on her leg, and I panicked when he went to do something unbelievable at this wedding, and I grabbed her leg, like in a horror movie way. And she's like, I skinned my knee right there. It's like, I've harmed my wife because of The Office now. It is affecting me that much. And you know why?
Why?
Because I see Michael Scott things in myself, and it's killing me, dude.
I think I get it. So you see things that you think are socially acceptable, but they're not, but you can't see it until after it's done?
Michael Scott is an exaggerated version of what insecurity does to each of us.
Oh, it's getting cold. I'm shutting the door.
That's fine.
Wind started blowing.
But maybe especially me. And he's a leader. You know, he likes to try to be a little bit funny and misses a lot. I can relate to that. He cares more about being loved than he probably should. And even when he has to make hard decisions, he still wants everybody to like him. Sometimes I care about that more than I probably should.
So it's like a moment where he's not self-aware?
Yes. It's his not self-aware moments that cause me to, it's like all these moments in my brain replay all the way back to childhood of things I've done socially, how I've managed situations, how I've responded to difficult stuff, times that I've been just an idiot at like a meal or in a conversation and not realized it until I watched The Office now as an adult man. And then I agonize over things that were that obviously humiliating to everyone else in the room that I was doing that I did not know I was doing until I saw Michael Scott do it.
Oh, so it's the moments that it's just a moment when you're not with it and you think you are.
You think you're killing it, man. I own this room right now, and you're the biggest idiot in the room, and
Dude,
everyone else sees it.
We should have a word for that.
We should try to come up with a word for that. Can we call it a Michael moment?
Yeah, that's good. So like a Michael moment would be like if you were to start talking to a room of people about how they should do something, and they all are like experts at the thing, and they just let you talk anyway.
What are you talking about there? What do you mean?
Is that a Michael moment?
What are you driving at? Like, let's say it is, hypothetically.
I've done things like that before. Like, so there's a couple of young engineers at work that'll stroll into my office sometimes, and we just kind of shoot the breeze. And every once in a while, I call it professor voice. If I get really excited about it, something technical, I'll start slipping into like, oh yeah, it's like this. So when you take the the Poisson ratio, and I'll start explaining something.
There was nothing wrong with that voice. It has to be worse than what you just did.
Okay, it is.
Do it for real.
I can't fake it. It's a real thing that happens. My brain just transitions into this like professor voice where I'm going to now teach you something. You know what I mean?
Okay, yes, I really know what you mean.
I can't fake it. You've heard it. Surely
yeah, you've heard mine.
Yeah. And so when I do that, Sheldon, this guy that works with me, every once in a while I'll see it in his eyes and I'll just stop mid-sentence and I'll say, I'm doing the professor thing, aren't I?
What does he say?
He'll say, just keep going, man. It's important.
Okay.
Like so what he's saying in that moment is, yes, you are, but you're giving us information, but the way that you're giving us the information is a Michael moment. And you don't know it, but still we need the information, so get on with it. Because he's socially with it. He
is dialed. I've only interacted with him a couple times.
Yeah. Oh, you saw him at work?
Yeah, we've talked on the phone. Like you've.
Oh yeah, on our way to lunch. Sometime.
Yeah, you put me on the speakerphone. And yeah, guy's sharp.
He really
socially sharp.
He is,
and not like for an engineer. I mean, he's really socially sharp.
For a dude named Sheldon, he's with it.
We both occupy the same social spot in our circles a little bit. Like people kind of defer to you. I watch that. If there's a decision to be made and there's a bunch of people milling around socially, they're kind of looking your direction. And I think a lot of times people kind of glance my direction if I'm in my neck of the woods. When I slip into authority figure mode and people need it from me and it's good and it's done with humility and I'm aware of what's happening, it usually goes pretty well and people are grateful. It's when I don't get it or I wasn't invited to be that guy or I don't actually know what I'm talking about and shouldn't act like I do that I come off like an idiot.
What if the previous comment where you said, people look your direction? What if that's a Michael moment?
What if they don't?
What if they don't? What if they look your direction because you're stupid?
And they just want to see
what you'll do.
How idiotically I will try to take the reins of a situation I don't understand. It's possible, man.
Oh, man. So what would be cool is if you see people doing that on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to like Twitter more and more, by the way.
Twitter's my favorite.
Yeah. And so what if you see, like Joel Osteen, for example, pretty much every tweet he makes is a Michael moment.
It's hard for me to consume his tweets.
Yeah. I don't consume them. I just look at them I'm like, oh, man, wow.
That is consuming.
So this is the game we're going to play. A Michael moment is a moment where you think you're killing it, but you're obviously not. Or you think you are bestowing wisdom upon someone else. Or you've arrived at something, therefore you have information to provide to someone else. So is it a you're not really humble? Is it a moment when you're not humble?
Okay, I would have thought that a few years ago. It can be that, but I think a Michael moment needs a larger descriptor. It can also just be honest insecurity, and you just don't know your niche in a given moment or in a social setting. If you know those ads, I don't know, it's like Holiday Inn or something. It's like if you're comfortable, you can do anything.
Yeah,
that is true, man. If I feel it, I'm decent at sports. I can handle a social situation. But if I don't know where I fit, if I'm just not clear on what my role is here and what I'm doing, how I'm viewed by others, I can get kind of fumbling trying to feel that out. And that's what happens to Michael. He'll do the overconfident nonsense thing where he pretends to have knowledge he doesn't. I can make that mistake. But then he'll do I had issues at home growing up, and this strikes right at this one particular vulnerability that nobody knows I have, and I'm not consciously thinking about this vulnerability, but it's going to make me feel uncertain here, and go big or go home, so I'm going to try this, and you just fall on your face. And it's even worse when you don't realize you fell on your face until like 3 hours later, so you can't try to salvage it in the moment. That, to me, is also a Michael moment.
So, do you ever truly become aware of a Michael moment?
I think if you do, it's not a Michael moment anymore.
Okay. I get it. How do we use this?
I would like for this to be something that we bounce off each other moving forward, because we're going to have more of these.
So I'll be like, hey, Matt, I think, you kind of explain that thing to me. So can I use this between us? I'll be like, hey, you remember when you told me about this? No offense, dude. That was a little bit of a Michael moment. So it's like you got mustard on your face, but nobody tells you, kind of thing.
Let me put it this way.
Okay.
That could open a bit of a Pantera's box. So we need to be smart about this.
Pantera's box.
We need to be smart about this because it is possible that you telling me I'm having a Michael moment could be you having a Michael moment.
Oh, crap.
And vice versa. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
And you have this power that is actually, frankly, awe-inspiring.
The part where I can read your mind?
Yeah,
40%
and you're
of the
right
time?
literally 40% of the time, which is almost half, which is almost
I know.
better odds than just guessing.
Yeah, I know.
Almost.
I know.
No, you're socially dialed, so you see stuff, and a lot of times you're just dead on and it cuts to the core, and other times you just didn't have it at all. And so you give me feedback and it's like, no, you read that one wrong. Or I'm having a Michael moment.
Okay, cool.
All right, so let's just introduce that into the vernacular.
So you and I now have the ability to call that out on each other as a means to, like, iron sharpens iron. We can tell each other that so that we are more socially dialed. That's the intent.
There are some things that we need to call each other out on that are pretty just direct and whatever, and we should be able to handle it. If it feels like it's a Destin Michael moment that's rooted in some sneaky, secret, lingering insecurity that everybody has and there's no shame in that, I'm going to be gentle. Because what I've found in counseling is if you want to screw somebody up, go hard on their insecurities.
Okay.
If you want to help somebody, it takes a little more finesse when you're dealing with an issue prompted by insecurity. Insecurity and guilt
I think I
are two
understood
things
a
that make
Michael
you
moment
nuts.
better until you said insecurities. I don't
Really?
understand it anymore. Yeah,
Well, it's because you don't have any, maybe.
that's not true.
Maybe you just feel completely confident about everything you are and you don't have regrets and you feel like you're fully sufficient in all the things that you bring to the table.
I don't know what to do with my hands now. This is getting weird.
It's hard to know what you feel insecure about until you're in the moment of feeling insecure about it.
Okay.
I think most people are going to, just based on counseling experience, I think most people are going to be like, and now we're to the heart of it.
Okay.
It's not just that I'm an ass in social situations. It's that I feel insecure and it makes me act weird.
So it's the insecurity that actually makes the Michael moment happen.
I think so. I think so. If we screw something up and it wasn't malicious and it wasn't because of incompetence, it was probably because of insecurity.
Okay.
It's not a character issue. It's not an ineptitude issue. It's because you are ept that you know something's off. It's just, it's hard.
So I think I've fallen victim to him not because I was insecure, but because I was overly secure. Like, I thought I knew more than I did.
And I think you and I are both far more likely to err on that end of the equation, given how we're wired. But I definitely have the capacity to do the insecurity fail.
So whatever this Michael moment is, it's basically you're not socially dialed in the situation and you think you are, and other people can see it and you can't. That's it in a nutshell.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I bring that up, one, because The Office is very good. And it's maybe the best show I've ever seen on television in terms of a comedy. That writing is phenomenal. Two, I bring it up because I just have all this space to think right now.
So will you do me a favor? If
Yeah.
I have a Michael moment, will you just let me know?
Yeah, but I'm going to try to do it like a friend, not like your supervisor.
I just realized a Michael moment that we have right here is
What?
everyone that listens to the podcast named Michael is going to...
Oh, man.
is going to hate this.
Maybe we need to think of a different name for that. We'll work on a different name. Hey, Michaels, who listen, just pulling up the third chair real quick here. If you could propose a different name for that, we'd be all ears.
Yeah, it comes from Michael Scott, not you.
Yeah, it's not you, person we haven't met.
Okay, we need a name for that.
Okay. All right, we'll work on that. Every episode we say thank you to the patrons because the patrons are the ones who make this go.
It's a big deal.
If they didn't exist, this wouldn't exist.
I hope some of the patrons show up at the thing we're going to do.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about that yet in the episode, have we?
Okay, it's all right. We can just time warp here. It'll be absolutely fine. So at the end of the episode, here's a sneak preview. We talk about a meetup that we're going to do in Nashville.
Yeah.
More details to come at the end, and hopefully we can get some patrons to come out.
Sounds good.
So in addition to thanking the patrons, we need to thank a bunch of people who have taken the time to go over to iTunes and give us
Have you been reading those too?
Yes.
They're great.
Do they kind of make you feel good?
Yeah.
They kind of a lot make me feel
Yeah.
good.
Thank you, everyone who has gone to iTunes and left a solid review there.
I have
appreciate it.
read every dang word of every review that people have left.
Yeah. Those mean a lot to me. They really do.
Well, they're kind of a holistic evaluation of the whole thing.
But the thing is that I think it matters because when people leave reviews, that bumps the podcast up in the rankings, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's an active thing people can do. I don't know. I think the best thing people can do is just to suggest a particular episode to a friend.
Yep.
But leaving a review is awesome because we get to read it.
Might I recommend starting with episode 15, Sleep Paralysis. Here's a fun, lighthearted thing that these two guys talk about. It's like we're friends and we just hang out.
Yeah,
Here they
we
talk
just-
about demons invading their bedroom. Don't worry, they're credible, rational people.
I actually like the Antikythera mechanism. That's probably my favorite one because of,
I really like that episode.
Testicles and barnacles.
That's very offensive. That's very offensive, and you're being offensive right now.
If you had to suggest one episode to somebody, what would it be? Have you done that yet?
Yeah. I mean, for an interview, I think the one with Emily or the one with Leonore is spectacular.
Yeah.
Brady was great. Bob was great. I think it is refreshing to have a lady on the podcast with
Yeah.
us, and I think they did wonderfully.
Leonore ran circles around me, by the way.
Leonore is about as honest as a person will get.
Yeah.
Can't believe you can put a microphone to your lips and just let it all out like that. She was
She did.
amazing.
Yeah.
In terms of the content style episode where we both study a thing and then bring it to the table, I agree. Antikythera is probably my favorite there. In terms of review, I really thought we'd have more discoveries and fun going to Chicago for Devil in the White City. I enjoyed that, but I love doing the Ready Player One review.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think Ender's Game's going to be better, maybe.
Better than
I
the
don't
Ready
know.
Player One review?
We'll see.
That's their stinking Mona Lisa, man.
So, you get one episode to suggest to someone. What is it?
This one, because whatever I'm doing right now is always the very best.
For me, it's Antikythera mechanism.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with this one.
So, thank you to the patrons. Thank you for everyone for leaving iTunes reviews. And thank you for suggesting it to your friends.
And thank you in advance for everybody who's going to make the time to hang out with us in Nashville.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
I'm going to get the Master Commander. You don't even know what that means, do
No,
you?
I don't know what you're talking about at all. The Master Commander, is that like the dreaded Rear Admiral?
No.
I think that's a move that
It's-
middle
it's a
school
river
boys do
float.
to others that they're bullying. I'm not sure. It sounds like it would be a good one. So, I recorded a video in your office when you weren't looking.
Yeah, about the movie we went to.
Oh, that one's separate. I recorded that one on the porch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got that one out last night. That was a little bit of work. I liked the movie.
Yeah, it was good. The Paul movie.
I've never posted something where there's no other review of the movie on the internet.
Well, it's a Christian movie, and all Christian movies suck.
You're absolutely right. They sure do.
Except that one. I thought it was pretty good.
It was good. It was risky and brave, and they...
Can we just say like a couple of things that... I mean, do you think people are going to watch it?
No, I don't think people are going to watch it.
So spoiler alert for those 5 of you that will watch it. I think you should. I don't know. I think it'll mean more to people that are Christians.
Oh, yeah, it is an in-house movie.
Well, but it's not... It doesn't beat the drum beat. Like, oh my gosh, did you see one of the... previews was God's Not Dead 45 or whatever it was. You're on the record for hating that series.
And I'm sure there are people listening who just love those. And what is the saying that you use down here? Oh, yeah, bless your heart. I detest them. I think they make Christianity look stupid.
I do too. Yeah.
Christians are victims of nothing.
Well, and
nothing.
And that's why
theologically we think that God resolves stuff ultimately and eternally. So going around acting like victims to score political points,
and that's exactly what God's
lame.
Not Dead is
Yes.
total malarkey. But
gross.
what was cool about this movie is it was showing the first century church, which actually did have things to worry about.
Yes. And I think the whole reason they did it was so that modern Christians would look at that and be like, someone said something mean about my religion on the internet. I'm persecuted. And then they would watch a person being dipped in pitch and lit on fire to light a garden while they're still alive and be like, well, that was worse than that comment.
So you pointed out like halfway through the movie where the Roman prefect over the jail, his daughter's sick, spoiler, and you said, oh my gosh, Luke's going to be involved.
Yeah.
And you leaned over and you said, I so want him to heal the daughter just because he's smart, not because of, and then a miracle occurs because God.
Yeah. And that's what a Christian movie would normally do.
Right.
Be like, I don't believe in your God, you dumb Christian. I would need some sort of proof. And then
a miracle occurs.
Oh, never mind. I repent of all the bad not Christian things I thought. Now I believe in your God. It's just, it's not how the world works. Like,
no,
if God
is
a like the eagles in Lord of the Rings, who just shows up magically whenever you need him to, that's not how reality is.
And there was the one group in there, where the young men that were all angry and stuff, and he goes, this is what believing in God gets you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, dead, which I don't know. You'd have to see the movie to understand the context. But the coolest part, you're absolutely right, the coolest part was when Luke walks in there and he does stuff because science.
Yep. I loved it. And Luke's my favorite character in the Bible. Well, Jesus is my favorite character in the Bible.
Luke is?
Luke is my favorite character in the Bible.
Why?
It's the reason I did Acts to lead off the 10-minute Bible hour, 90 whatever videos that I did on that. I've worked all the way through the book of Luke. I've studied every word of it in depth because he's a Greek thinker who just made an argument. He didn't come along and try to tell people, like, this magic, you can count on it. When you feel this feeling, you'll believe it. He starts both of his books, Luke and Acts, saying, here's an orderly account of what happened with Jesus and then what happened after Jesus. I consulted sources. I gathered this data, and here's a faithful account of what occurred.
It's like a lab report.
Yeah.
And so what I like...
And that kind of healthy, skeptical belief is also what my faith is.
We're
like.
kicking the JPMs through the roof here, but whatever. We got to talk about the movie. So Peter is my favorite person in the Bible because he's a hothead and he doesn't think before he talks and like all the things that you don't like about me. That's why I like Peter. So, but I think the coolest part was when he walks in, he sees the sick daughter, and he's like, I've seen this before. It's blood in the lungs. I need these things from that location to fix her, and I'm going to use science that I've learned along the way. So it's a completely knowledge-driven, there is no magic fairy god that if you pray hard enough, this will happen.
And if it doesn't happen, then I guess you didn't pray hard enough.
And I think that was actually interesting that the contrast to the Romans, they were like, oh, well, I bet if you offer this prayer, that I mean, just imagine if Nero were to offer a prayer for your daughter, how much more would the gods listen? But on the Christian side, they were like, okay, here, we got to use science to fix this.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't see it the same way, but basically the idea is the miracle here is that God did something in that guy's life to make him care about his enemy's daughter. And then he used his brain and his skills from being a smart, competent person to go and serve his enemy's daughter. Yeah,
the miracle was love.
Yeah.
That's a lot of JPMs. We should back off.
You're feeling it right now? You think?
No, I'm not. I just don't want... Well, you know what? Actually, let me read this to you real quick, because what I was about to tell you just then was I don't want to alienate people that don't believe what I believe. But let me read you this really, really nice...
Okay, you pull that up and I'll tell you how to alienate people who don't believe what you believe.
Okay.
Tell them that you believe something in their heart, so now you're going to make them do it using force. Like, the stakes are real low with you and me, dude, because we're not going around advocating for stuff to tell everybody else that because we feel a thing and we think a thing is true, everyone else has to do it.
Okay,
I don't think you're alienating people. Read me the thing.
This is a really, really cool comment from a dude on Reddit. This was a direct message from Jurassic Mars.
Cool.
Good name. Here it goes. Hi, Destin. First of all, I just want to say I've been a fan of the podcast for a long time, and I'm always thankful to you and Matt, I don't think he meant that part, for presenting a view that's different from mine. Most of us are very shut in by our self-created filter bubbles, so it's very refreshing to hear differing opinions articulated in such an open and reasonable way. Quite often, I venture outside my own bubble on the internet. I meet trolls and aggressive people who simply aren't willing to listen. Starting off good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I won't go into all the ways I disagree with what you guys said in the last episode. Others have said enough. I do hope the discourse here doesn't discourage you from talking about controversial topics in the future. That's what we're all here for. Please don't worry about alienating your listeners. And that's what I was doing just then, right? I was like, JPMs are getting high. I need to back out.
Yeah.
I also hope there will be a follow-up conversation to this episode. I think he's talking about the gun one. I'm not sure. That addresses some of the comments from listeners, not just the most extreme views, yeah? Having a liberal-minded guest on the show would be great because maybe you two aren't as different as you imagine to be on the topic. That's, we had Henry.
We don't imagine ourselves to be different on that topic.
No, we don't. But
that's a wonderful comment. That's
yeah, that was super encouraging. And basically what Jurassic Mars is saying is don't be afraid to talk about things. Don't be scared to talk about things because you think we might disagree with you. And so I wish more people were like that, myself included.
And you know what? How many comments have we seen? Maybe not quite so fleshed out, but how many comments have we seen like that in the last week?
Yeah.
I've heard that a ton.
Yeah.
Just a ton. The guy who said we needed to do this episode, Gabriele, I'm probably butchering his name, from Italy, who I met when I was over there. He's the one who hit us both up. He's the one who was the first one to post it in the r/NDQ subreddit. He was like, hey, talk about this. I don't know. I kind of told him like, hey, man, private message here. We might get to it. We have a bunch of other things coming. We'll see. Could be tricky. He got right back to me. It was, again, more or less like there was more to explore there. Could have been better. I disagreed on some things. But again, he was saying don't shy away from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I respect it. I've been happy with the way this whole thing has played out, really, to be honest.
Your sabbatical?
Well, yeah. The sabbatical, hanging out with you guys. You guys have made an inordinate amount of time to hang out with us, by the way, so thank you for that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I know you're busy people with lives and stuff, but it's been fun hanging out enough that it doesn't feel like we got to get in everything right now.
Right.
And we can just be a little bit, and that's fun. We've never done that before as friends.
Letting it air out a little bit.
Yeah, which I'm going to do right now. Oh, that's better.
I should do that too.
Yeah, there's no reason.
One thing that's really weird about the sabbatical is my commute home.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I usually call Matt here, or I could just wait till the end of the commute and just drop in and say hi.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Terribly inconvenient when I'm in Wyoming.
The cicadas stopped.
Oh, they did. That's kind of boring. Well, here, let's step outside for the last part of this conversation.
You want to do that?
Mm-hmm. We got cords, right?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, so here's the deal. Just to prove we're at the river, I'm going to throw a rock in the water. Here we go.
Yep. That was actual.
We could have faked that.
How?
How do we prove this? Okay, I'm going to make a kerplunker. Here we go.
All right, go. That's awful. I'm going to skip one.
Skip one?
Yeah, check this out. I'm calling it right now.
People hate this. Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing what?
Why are we podcasting skipping rocks in the
Everybody's
river?
fine. This is important. All right, I can get 3 out of a rock like this.
Go.
That might have been 4 or 5.
That was 4 or 5. Okay, my turn. Ready?
Yeah.
If you go lower to the ground, you get more. Here we go.
That's what I do. Yeah,
Watch.
You got to dip down, man. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you got like the 3 and then the.
I'm doing
one more. I'm doing one more. Then we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay, then we're gonna wrap up the episode.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be a garbage rock. I'm not making my last throw some garbage rock. Ooh, this is a good rock. All right, I'm calling it right now, but you need to hold the microphone here. Take this.
Oh, you're gonna get the body into it.
I'm gonna get the body into it, and I'm gonna go for. You take the headphones.
Got him.
All right, I'm calling this as 8.
8.
I don't know. It kind of.
That was 4.
It kind of.
Hold mine. I'm gonna get 8.
Hold my beer. Okay. All right. Show me 8.
Okay. Here we go.
1, 2. I don't know, like a trail off on 3 again.
Okay.
I thought we were better at this. I really thought it would be.
Should we wrap this up?
I think people could listen to this all night long.
Well, let's wrap this up.
Okay, probably.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to us skip rocks on Dizzy River.
Hey, Destin Sandlin, should we do a meetup in Nashville?
Yeah, you want to do that
Yeah,
at the Soda Parlor?
Yes.
Okay, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
There's a place owned by Olin Rogers called the Soda Parlor, and we can get really good milkshakes and stuff there.
Sweet. That brings all the boys to the yard.
So how are we going to announce the time and stuff? Why don't we do it on your Facebook page?
I thought of one problem. Let's just put it on. Let's put it on r/NDQ.
r/NDQ,
and we'll tweet it and stuff.
Okay.
But we're talking like end of like next couple weeks here.
Yeah, let's do that. And then we've got Ready Player One is the next episode, right?
Talking about the Ready Player One movie, and then the one after that is Ender's Game, as we talked about earlier with the Audible spot.
Yeah.
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 So if somebody hasn't got that yet,
when are we going to fit in the police brutality, transgenderism, abortion,
climate change,
global warming episode?
We'll skip Rockstar in that one too.
All right.
This is fun, dude. Thank you.
That was fun. I'm going to get back in the truck.
I'm going to skip another rock. All right.